Thank you so much. The retail trader one says CPD is 11K, 11,000 personnel. How many more cops do they need to get the desired result? Well, apparently they need the National Guard because, like
It's
you said,
in the city of Chicago. How 11,000 police gonna police 3,000? I mean, 3 million people.
well, you need the National Guard, and then if those 11,000 stop turning a blind eye to the illegals and the drug and gun cartels, maybe something will get done. But I want to go to the people. Right? I want to play this clip here. Let's see something. Oh, I had it on mute.
This is a good.
Can you hear that?
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded. My first reaction was that this is a good thing.
Okay, yeah, that was it because it's only 21 seconds. So, was this the clip you was talking about?
What I'm talking about, first off, I love her Chicago accent. I love how we talk. But yeah, she's telling the truth. Now, she just said that the police were defunded, so things are worse. And she believes that the National Guard is going to be a good thing. Everybody is saying the National Guard is going to be a good thing. The only thing that they're really saying is like, oh my God, they might try to do something to the young boys because the young boys might try to fight them. But the young boys aren't going to try to fight the National Guard. Come on now. It's not like there's a video of the police getting beat up at a block club party and it was wild. However, that's because those people on that block knew those police from that station. So that was more like a neighbor beef. We're not going to jump on on no National Guard with these big old guns. Who does that? Nobody. And again, their goal is not to come here and police the young boys. But yeah.
So
not coming to bother. They're coming for the cartel. I want to just make sure that everybody who's watching this understands that this is a military campaign. Military campaign, not to hurt the Negroes in Chicago. Nothing more, nothing less. Everybody calm down, please.
All right, so I'm going to play this clip here, right? And you see, with this green, red, and black flag, you already know what type of BS time they on, because there are people saying we don't need the National Guard.
We believe that the National Guard and the military occupation is the first step into rounding black people up and putting them in detainment camps here in Washington, D.C. and around the United States of America. We believe that.
Well, he has some wrong beliefs, because they're not, the National Guard don't round people up and put them in detention camps.
That man probably ain't read a book the first, as my grandma would say. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but what they're doing is they're trying to emotionally manipulate the people against their own safety and security by using dog whistles from slavery. Now, it's very important to remember that during Reconstruction, a Republican president had to send in the military to protect the Negroes from the Democrats in the South. And the same thing is happening 150 years later in Chicago. Same thing, y'all. Same. We're dealing with the same people. They would rather for us to live under lawlessness and chaos while they continue to tell us to find comfort in this chaos than just to make us comfortable, because they don't respect us enough. They think that we want to live like this, and we don't. Nobody wants to live like this. It's very uncomfortable. But all these people you see standing there, those are all those people. What you're about to see is $1 billion worth of pensions, okay? Because some of them people sitting there got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pensions, which is why the schools are broke and the state is broke. But then what you're also going to see is a bunch of people who would rather us continue to suffer than get the help that we need from the federal government.
And I want to play this clip.
As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for a military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment. What safe cities across America all have in common, they invest in people. And that's what we're doing in Chicago. We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a publicity stunt to invoke chaos and terror, the federal government should spend that money on proven solutions to crime and violence reduction. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
Yeah, so what the Democrats, their one trick pony is to always bring up race and racism, going back to slavery. And it's like, no, dude, because you had your chance under the Biden administration and you chose to give all these tangibles and all these resources, to illegals to make sure that they're A-okay. So I just, first of all, I don't trust any politician, but,
You trust me, because I ain't never lied to you.
Right. Well, I more so look at you as a statesman, which is those are the statesmen are more authentic and genuinely help the community, and you do what's right by the people. But politicians, and like you're saying, they're all getting their hands greased with money, access, connections. They're not actually wanting a solution. They don't want a solution, because if you actually solve crime, then you're going to be out of a job.
Then ain't no more anti-violence programs. Ain't no more violence prevention if it's no violence. But I want to tell you this, because they talk about, the police being here and we don't need this and we don't need that. I went to breakfast the other day with a community leader who lives here on the West Side. And for those who live in the city, he said that his family owns a home near Madison and Pulaski, or more toward Jackson and Pulaski, but in that space. They sell more drugs than a little bit right there. Okay, that's actually the epicenter of drug trafficking in the city of Chicago. It's literally an open air drug market. So his family had began to call the police and report, because they didn't want that chaos on their block. This is his grandmother's block. So he said he went to go visit her, and the guys was like, "Hey man, Joe, come check it out. Why you calling the police on us?" And they like, "Police? I ain't calling no police on y'all." They like, "Yes, you did, because the police told us that you've been calling. And you better not come back over here anymore." So he has not been back to his grandmother's house for 5 months. That's why we need the feds here. Because the cartel has so much money that they have literally tainted how we get justice in this city. There's no way that an international organization can set up shop and sell over $1 billion worth of drugs a year and traffic all these people up here without them having help by the people in charge. That's why that's why I've been begging my president to come here, because we need somebody outside of them to come check out what's going on here. That's why I've been saying, please, Mr. President, come to the city of Chicago. Just check it out. Just get in my car. You know what I'm saying? Get in my car and I'll drag you around and you can see what I'm talking about. Y'all, we are suffering here. But what we also want, Miss Dana, is for every one troop that he sends, I want 2 prosecutors, okay? Bring Pam Bondi with you, because what we're also dealing with is the fallout of legislative mismanagement and corruption. And if we could see some of these very corrupt politicians get handcuffed and marched out of City Hall, that too would be a deterrent to crime, because people would know that you can't steal no more in Chicago. They got to start with the politicians, and then they're going to see that crime is going to drop substantially, because they like, if he could steal, I could steal.
Let me say this. Let me include this too, because I believe, because yes, Chicago, that is known for a direct line from Mexico all the way up to Chicago for guns and drugs when you talk about the cartels.
Yes.
And that is a fact. I believe National Guard come in for those 30 days that they are legally entitled to be there. Either it's going to be completely slowed down or zero transaction of guns and drugs coming in via the cartel, because now you have military officials, on the streets. So, I'm curious to see those numbers, because I'm pretty sure Trump is going to have those numbers and gloat about it. But if when the National Guard comes, and I do believe the National Guard is going to come to Chicago, and I really do hope they do come to Chicago, and we see the numbers, his numbers, and compare it to the Chicago police, you're going to see. I think the people would see a drastic decrease of this was what was going on before, and this is what's going on now. Zero drug and guns trafficking, scooping up illegals without the interference of the city or city police or governors, what they were doing in California.
The police cannot participate in ICE arrests. So this is even a better reason, because guess what? Now the ICE can come to the city and they can be backed up by the National Guard, and that could work because the cartels are the ones who traffic those people up here. You understand me?
Right.
So every single illegal is.
I think this is Trump's way. This is Trump's way of not even subliminally, but just openly telling the cartels, like, we coming in and we gonna slow down your whole corporate, your whole operation. Yeah, we're gonna disrupt it. Let me bring this super chat up, and thank you, Courtney Smith. She says, "Good evening, Dana and P. Ray. A lot of the crime here in the Chi goes ignored by police too. In some cases, they don't even answer phone calls." So you mentioned that earlier. Yeah. So so if they're not arresting, then the numbers go down.
That's all I'm saying, because it's still going down on the street. 3 days ago, a woman, she was 27 years old, a 27-year-old mother of 9. And don't knock her, because some people ain't had kids, so she had extra for those who didn't.
7.
But she had 9 children at 27 years old. She was standing on her porch at 6 o'clock in the morning, and somebody came and shot her in the face and killed her.
Damn shame. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. So how can we have incidents like that, but then still say in the same breath, "Oh, we don't need no help"?
Who did it?
Nope, they don't know who did it. They never know who did it. They when at that Mellow Bucks album release, when they shot those 18 people got shot in downtown Chicago, and there has not been an arrest yet. How?
I want to play this clip of you here. I have this one. You was on, what is this, Real America?
Oh yeah, with Dan Ball, Real America News Network.
Yes.
I know you're not a fan of Mr. Let's Go Brandon. I don't think you and I really went after Pritzker too much. He's usually too busy at the subway grabbing a sub. But I don't think they want Donald Trump and the troops or the federal officers. But you've been there your whole life. You've been out there running Chicago. Red the last couple of years to get Trump supporters out to vote in 24. Now you're running for Congress. You were on the streets. You were talking with these folks. What does P. Ray Easley see out there and say about some federal help to crack down on crime in your beloved city?
People are so happy, Dan. First off, hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Good.
Yes, but the people are elated. The city of Chicago has been asking for federal troops to come here since at least the 1970s, based on the archives that I've read, for the exact same reasons, and that's because we can't get justice out of the Cook County courts. In the city of Chicago, if the police department is doing a good job, shout out to CPD, they're not the problem. The problem happens in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, where they're pleading people, and then the Cook County judges are letting them out of jail. They found 5 guys in the car last week with almost 90 rounds of ammunition, and one judge put them in jail. They went back to court the next week, and she let everybody out. So now they can go and complete the hit that they got caught doing. It's not fair. But what? Yeah, they're not telling the truth. But I'm going to give you a scoop. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but about a month ago, I was at LaFollette Park, which is in the Austin community where both Brandon and I live. I was sitting there with a friend of mine. We were actually drinking juice out of these little cups that he bought for us. And the police drove past and said, no drinking in the park. Now, behind us is a massive soccer tournament going on. So I said, why aren't you back there talking to the people drinking the Modelo's? And he told me, we don't bother them. We try not to bother them because we know that if we arrest them, they'll get flagged in the system for immigration. And we don't want that for them. So they're not even counting the crime that the illegals are doing. Yes, I have a witness who can corroborate this story. They are cooking the books. And this is why we need someone independent of the Cook County judicial system to come in and give us justice. And that's Donald Trump and the federal government. It's the truth. I'm consistent on what I say. Consistent. I'm out here. I'm watching it. Do y'all think that I like doing this? Do you think that I like going to City Hall, waking up in the morning, going outside, having people all in my face? No, I like to make biscuits, okay? I want to wake up and roll out biscuits and drink tea and watch daytime TV, but I can't do that because we are in the middle of an invasion and everybody was acting like we were not in an invasion until we start saying, wait a minute, don't y'all see that we in an invasion? Act like we in an invasion and defend ourselves. And now we're defending ourselves. Brandon Johnson and the Chicago Teachers Union went down to Venezuela and have been going to Venezuela for over a decade, building relationships with these people and inviting them to the city of Chicago. We know that as a fact. Okay? Yeah, this ain't made up. They set all of this up, but they did not. These are a couple of things that they didn't count on happening. One, they didn't think that Madani was going to get back in office. Two, they did not think that the people led by Chicago Red would say, wait a minute, don't do this. Don't pay these people any attention. And three, they did not think that the president would actually respond to us. So now that those three things have happened, now they are in a complete state of panic. Okay.
With no answers. And then two, nobody is now holding them accountable for all those billions and billions of dollars they got under the Biden administration for the illegals. Like they don't even mention that. And it's like, but we ain't forget the people of Chicago and forget the people of New York and everywhere else. Black Americans didn't forget and
we'll never forget. It'll never be the same again.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.